Good morning, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Balan. So the issue is the mobile phone. So the effect of mobile phones to the academic students. The researchers discovered negative relationship between mobile phone usage and students' academic performance, such as every 100 minutes that students spend using their phone a day lead to the students dropping 6.3 places in terms of their academic school ranking. But there is also some advantage of using mobile phone. Where our first is we have its portability. You are portable. Second is multifunctional, and so multifunctional. Your phone have many uses like call, text. Third is mobile phone is communication tool. Fourth is we have useful application for students. Like for example, ani is US step. Dictionary. And fifth is can release stress. And also the phone is can release stress, like you're playing mobile like Mobile Legend, Rose, and other application na maka-entertain. And meanwhile, the disadvantages are causes addiction. So beside aning ay kaning advantages, so there is a disadvantage na like ma-addict ka, like ma-effectuhan imong students' health, wastage its bad influence for students. So the solution is you have to minimize using your phone, delete unnecessary app like kanang dili nimo magamit, switch up your phone or limit your notification. Delete apps if there is something particular that trigger usage. You could also keep your phone away and you turn off your notification or delete it, and that's all.
So, good morning, guys, and good morning to the professor or our instructor. So, my issue is all about immigration. So, as we all know, immigration can be internal or within the places around our country or around our regions, and also immigrations that you can migrate to another country. But the certain issue is that if migrating on other countries, are the specific country that you have been for quite some time has this impact on our economic development and also our industrial development and also our population. So the solution for that is that we can entertain those foreigners or those married couples that have a foreign husbands or foreign wives to live in our certain country just to have peaceful life and friendly accommodation, as well as it can help our country bloom and more industrialized and more improved. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Marlene. So, good morning once again. So, my name is Jezrael Parohinog. So, my issue is all about animal rights. Animal rights advocates believe that non-human animals should be free to live as they wish, without being used, exploited, or otherwise interfered with humans. The animal rights movement strive to make the public aware of the fact that animals are more sensitive, emotional, and intelligent than people have previously believed. But first, it's important to understand what the term animal rights really mean. Okay, what are animal rights? Animal rights are moral principles grounded in the belief that non-human animals deserve the ability to live as they wish, without being subjected to the desire of human beings. At the core of animal rights in autonomy, which is one way to saying choice. In many countries, human rights are enshrined to protect certain freedoms such as the right of expression, freedom from torture, and access to democracy. Of course, these choices are constrained depending on social location like race, class, and gender. But generally speaking, animal rights just safeguard the basic tenets of what makes animal live for living. Animal rights aim to do something similar only for non-human animals. Animal rights come into direct opposition with animal exploitation, which included animal use by humans for a variety of reasons, be it for food, an experiment object, or even pets. Animal rights can also be violated when it comes from human destruction of animal habitats. This negatively impact the ability of animals to lead full lives for their choosing. Okay, so the solution of animal rights. If you witness any form of animal cruelty, report it to the police or other authorities. Act immediately to prevent further cruelty. Teach your children to have respect for animals. Set a good example by being respectful toward animals. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everyone. My issue is the unintended pregnancy and unsafe abortion in the Philippines. Despite advances in reproductive health law, many Filipino women experience unintended pregnancies, and because abortion is highly stigmatized in the country, many who seek abortion undergo unsafe procedures. This report provides a summary of reproductive health indicators in the Philippines. In particular, levels of contraceptives used, unplanned pregnancy, and unsafe abortion, and describes the socio-political context in which services are provided, the consequences of unintended pregnancy and unsafe abortion, and recommendation for improving access to reproductive health services. Many women in the Philippines are unable to achieve their desired family size and have more children than they want. Unattended pregnancy is common, in part because of the high unmet need for contraception. The Philippine government has made efforts to improve access to contraceptive services, but abortion is illegal under all circumstances, and it thus highly common but is often performed in unsanitary conditions and using outdated techniques. Unsafe abortion carries significant risk for Filipino women. About 1,000 die each year from abortion complication, which contributes to the nation's high maternal mortality ratio. Adolescents and young women are particularly vulnerable. Sexual activity among young people is becoming more common in the Philippines. The proportion of women aged 15 to 24 years old who were sexually experienced increased from 25% in 1998 to 32% in 2008. Despite the taboo against premarital sex, many women report such behavior in 2008. The median age of marriage among young women was nearly a year later than the median age at first sexual experience. Filipino women are also giving birth earlier among first-time mothers. The proportion who were teenager increased from 20% in 2000 to 27% in 2010. Adolescent females are particularly at risk of unintended pregnancy because they lack access to comprehensive sex education and contraceptive supply. Abortion is common in the Philippines. Of the hundreds of thousands of Filipino women who have unintended pregnancies each year, many face difficult choice: either give birth to a child they are not prepared or able to care for, or obtain a clandestine and often unsafe abortion. Because abortion is highly stigmatized and punishable by law, it is extremely challenging to directly estimate the number of abortions in the Philippines, as both women and providers are likely not report the procedure. The most recent study on national abortion incidents in the Philippines used indirect discrimination, a rate of 27 abortions per 1,000 women of reproductive age in 2000, with lower and upper estimate of 22 and 31 abortions per 1,000 women. So to prevent the unintended pregnancy or the early pregnancy, women who choose to delay or prevent pregnancy should be offered contraceptive service that include a full range of FDA-approved contraceptive methods, a brief assessment to identify the contraceptive methods that are safe for client, contraceptive counseling to help a client choose a method of contraception and learn how to use it correctly and consistently. The last one is the provision of one or more selected contraceptive methods, preferably on-site but by referral if necessary. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jezrael. So good morning once again. My issue is all about overpopulation and their causes, effect, and solution. Over the last half century, the population of the world has exploded. In 2021, there are almost 8 billion people on the planet, and this number is projected to grow in a short of time. All of the environment challenges facing the planet today, overpopulation is one that sometimes left under the radar. Issues like population, climate change, and water shortage all seems to take precedence, but overpopulation is one of the main contributors to many other environment issues. Overpopulation will place great demands on resource and land, leading to widespread environmental issues in addition to impacting global economics and standard of living. The causes of overpopulation are different for many countries but are mostly associated with poverty, reduced mortality rates, poor medical access, for contraceptive use, as well as migration. With overpopulation comes a decrease in resource and increase in symptoms of illness and disease. There are a number of factors that contribute to overpopulation. These are the leading causes. Poverty is believed to be the leading cause of overpopulation. A lack of educational resources, coupled with high death rates leading to higher birth rates, result in impoverished areas seeing large boom in population. Second, poor contraceptive use. Total availability of contraceptive is widespread in developed countries. Poor planning on both partner parts can lead to unexpected pregnancies. Statistics have shown that in Great Britain, 76% of women aged between 16 and 49 use at least one form of contraceptive, leaving a quarter open to unexpected pregnancies. Third, child labor. As distressing as it may be to hear, child labor is still used extensively in many parts of the world. UNICEF estimates that approximately 150 billion children are currently working, primarily in countries that have few child labor laws. Fourth, reduced mortality rates. Improvement in medical technology has led to lower mortality rates for many serious diseases, particularly dangerous viruses and ailments such as polio, smallpox, and measles have been practically eradicated by such advance. While this is positive news in many ways, it is also mean that people are living longer than ever before. This delay in the circle of life and death has led to birth rates, outspring death rates by over 2 to 1 in modern times. Fourth, fertility treatment. Thought it only plays a minor role in comparison to the other causes of overpopulation. Improving fertility treatments have made it possible for more people to have children. The number of women using viral fertility treatment has been on the rise since their exception. Now most have the option of conceiving children even if they may not have been able to do without such treatment. Fifth is migration. Unchecked immigration into countries may lead to overpopulation to the point where those countries no longer have the required resources for their population. This is particularly problematic in countries where immigration numbers far exceed immigration numbers. Effects of overpopulation mainly involve the number of resources required to support a large population, which can lead to a great deal of population and other detriments to the environment. In many countries, the rapid use of these resources can have a negative impact on healthcare and destroy the land we live on. First, lack of water. Overpopulation creates greater demand on the world's freshwater supplies, as only roughly 1% of the world water is fresh and accessible. This creates a major issue. Second, lower life expectancy. While higher in life expectancy is leading to increase in population in developed countries, lower life expectancy may be caused by the booms in population that less developed nations are experiencing. Third, extinctions. The effect of overpopulation on the world wildlife is also a major issue as demand for land growth so the destruction of natural habitats such as forests. Some scientists warn that if present trends continue, as many as 50% of the world wildlife species will be at risk of extinctions. Fourth, resource consumption. As the population grows, those the amount of resources needed to keep so many people alive. Food, water, and fuels are all being consumed at record rates, placing greater demands on procedures and the planet itself. Fifth is increased intensive farming. As population has grown over the year, farming practice have involved to reduce enough food to feed larger number of people. However, intensive farming methods also cause damage to the local ecosystem and the land, which may pose problems in the future. Fifth, faster climate change. Overpopulation directly correlates to climate change, particularly as larger nations like China and India continue to develop their industrial capacities. They now rank as two of three largest contributors to emission in the world alongside the United States. Overpopulation solutions are necessary to mitigate the impacts of overpopulation. The rapid development of a country will see large growth in population. Education, access to contraceptive, and policy will help control the population in these countries. First, better sex education. A lack of sex education or poorly implemented education has led to overpopulation issue in many countries. The issue is so pronounced that the United Nations Population Fund is calling for improvement to be made, particularly in poorer areas of the world. Second, access to contraceptive. Access to birth control must go hand in hand with better sex education. After all, without it, people cannot put what we have learned into practice. The World Organization states that 225 billion women who are living in the developing countries would prefer to postpone giving birth but are not using any form of contraception. Many organizations such as the American Congress of the Obstetrical and Gynecologists also support improving access to contraceptives. Third is change in policy. Many nations offer reward whether in the form of financial incentives or increasing benefits to those who have more children. This may lead to some couples having more child. This may lead to some couple having more child than they otherwise would if needed to worry about the financial consequence. Then, fourth, education of the subject. While a number of organizations exist to provide schools with curricula and teaching materials to cover the subject of overpopulation, it is still a subject that is not covered in schools as well as it could be. This education should extend beyond talking about sex and into the global consequence of overpopulation. Dialogue about the subject needs to be more open with sites like debate, offering a useful resource that allow the issues to be confronted nationally. Overpopulation is a crisis that potentially stand alongside climate change as long as of the biggest challenges facing humanity today. Despite this, there is a little in the way of education or dialogue relating to the issues, particularly in school. If does not change, the issues highlighted in this article may continue to grow unabated. If there happens, this one issue could have a knock-on effects that will lead to the on-hold problem in the future. So that's all. Thank you.